localized electrons that can move freely in crystal lattices and can be motivated. That is, the graphite has metallic luster which can conduct heat and electricity. Due to the large distances between the layers, and with small bonding forces, they have soft and creamy textures, are gray-black, opaque, and solid. They have a density 2.25 G/cm3, a melting point 3652 degrees Celsius, a boiling point 4827 degrees Celsius, and a Mohs scale hardness of 1. The chemical properties are stable and corrosion resistant, and not very reactive with acid, alkali, or other chemicals. When burned in oxygen at 687 degrees Celsius, it will produce carbon dioxide. It can be oxidized by strong oxidizing agents such as concentrated nitric acid or mineral chameleon. It can be used as an anti-scuff agent and as a lubricant. Highly pure graphite can be used as a neutron moderator in nuclear reactors and can be used in the manufacture of crucibles, electrodes, electric brushes, dry cell batteries, graphite fibers, heat exchangers, coolers, electric arc furnaces, arc lamps, pencil lead, and much more. Diamonds are allotropes of carbon atoms which are typical covalent crystals. The carbon atoms form 4 sp3 hybrid orbits which connect to each other with covalent bonds. Each carbon atom is in the center of a regular tetrahedron formed by 4 other carbon atoms associated with it, forming a crystal, and the entire crystal can be regarded as a giant molecule. These crystals belong to cubic systems and are usually in forms with 8 faces. The purest quality ones are colorless, transparent, strong, and lustrous, but impurities will make them appear blue, sky blue, light yellow, red, or black. Their density is 3.15–3.53 G/cm3, their melting point is 3550 degrees Celsius, and their boiling point is 4827 degrees Celsius. With a Mohs scale hardness of 10, they are the hardest of all materials. They are non-conductive and appear pale blue fluorescent under ultraviolet light. They do not react with most chemical agents, and can be burned in oxygen at 777 degrees Celsius to produce carbon dioxide. Transparent carbides are known as diamonds after they have been carved and polished and are luxurious ornaments. There are few diamond minerals in nature. Diamonds can be made artificially, such as with graphite, subjected to high temperatures, high pressures, and catalyzing agents. What revelation can we obtain from the above data? Graphite and diamonds both consist of carbon atoms, which means that the material of both is the same, but the differences of their molecular structural permutations lead to completely different physical properties. The Mohs scale hardness of graphite is 1 while that of diamonds is 10. The extreme differences between the two lead to extremely different uses, and that is to say that for the same material, when its molecular permutations change, its material properties also change. This principle can be used in the management of the production, life, and human resources, and that is by the permutation and combinations of the managers. Perfect permutations and combinations will make teams like diamonds, with powerful and efficient managing ability. Conversely, if the team is like graphite, it will be weak, ineffective, and have poor managing efficiency. Graphite has free, radical, electrons, while diamonds do not. This shows us the analogy that if one group consists of people with different faiths and viewpoints who act without coordination by their own free will, then it will lack cohesion, capacity, and have low efficiency and internal friction. Conversely, if the group is like a unified diamond, it will be invincible, capable of destroying any stronghold, and energy efficient. The same materials form different material properties because of their different permutations and combinations. So it is with life. If the life's non-material structure is different, then it can be transformed from one form of life into another, and a human may be transformed into a celestial being or a Buddha. We can regard humans as graphite, while celestial beings and Buddhas as diamonds. If the consciousness of a human is out of order, they will likely devolve towards lower life. If the consciousness of a human is in order, they will likely evolve toward a higher life. I have obtained the secrets of transforming humans into celestial beings and Buddhas, and I am aware of how to do this with self-cultivation and self-refinery. As long as one follows my guidance strictly, they will become a celestial being or a Buddha and reach the high-level space of life. This is assured. Associative thinking. Xiefeng. Being able to grasp a particular phenomenon in the natural world, and then through that phenomenon, draw analogies, make inferences, and establish connections with other related factors is called associative thinking. The most typical example of associative thinking is Newton, Apple, universal gravitation. Newton, observing the common natural phenomenon of an apple falling to the ground, associated it with gravity. From gravity, he made connections to factors such as mass, velocity, and spatial distance, and subsequently derived the three laws of motion. This is an example of associative thinking. The phenomenon of swirling water in a bathtub drain can be associated with the direction of Earth's magnetic field lines. The spiraling ascent of a bean vine can be associated with the direction of celestial bodies' movement. The natural phenomenon of wood floating and iron sinking on the water surface can be associated with buoyancy and the shipbuilding industry. The discontinuity observed in certain events can be associated with quantum mechanics. The concepts of motion, mass, and gravity can be associated with the curvature of spacetime. The role of consciousness can be associated with the holographic nature of the universe, and so on. All of these examples fall under the category of associative thinking. A qualified detective can deduce the character traits, motives, and whereabouts of the parties involved from the smallest clues. A qualified forensic expert can infer the physical characteristics, facial expressions, and even the appearance and attire of the perpetrator from the victim's injuries and facial expressions. A qualified traditional Chinese medicine practitioner can identify internal organ disorders based on a patient's complexion. A qualified fortune teller, based on a person's facial features, can make predictions about their past actions, future fortunes, and misfortunes. A qualified feng shui master can assess the quality of a person's living environment based on their handwriting and habitual movements. A qualified politician can anticipate a dynasty's transition and the arrival of a new era based on common psychological and behavioral patterns among people. A qualified economist can predict stock market fluctuations, the future economic development of a company or a nation based on specific events. A qualified sociologist can associate the prevalence of prostitution, drug use, and organized crime with the loss of a nation's belief systems and moral values. Even a fashion designer can envision future clothing trends based on popular colors and the pace of people's footsteps on the streets. Associative thinking possesses qualities of originality, inventiveness, novelty, and uniqueness. It is a divergent thinking process. Many people may appear to have associative thinking, but in reality, they are merely applying the associative knowledge of others or drawing from long-standing experiential summaries. For example, many farmers can relate the changing seasons to spring plowing, summer growth, autumn harvest, and winter storage. However, this is not the result of their own associative thinking but a reflection of their accumulated experiences in their conscious minds. Similarly, many individuals can associate joint pain with changes in weather, which is the effect of knowledge and experience rather than the result of associative thinking. Many businessmen make decisions on what goods to import or export based on regional differences, timing variations, and seasonal variations. Again, this is a result of experience, with few exceptions. When we look at the professions of engineers, technicians, experts, scholars, ordinary detectives, doctors, economists, and others, it may seem like their work relies on associative thinking. However, in reality, they are simply applying the knowledge or experience acquired from education or accumulated through their work. For instance, Newton's association of an apple falling to the ground with the concept of universal gravitation is a result of associative thinking. But if a college student claims to associate an apple falling to the ground with universal gravitation, they are merely stating the knowledge they have learned, recounting Newton's discovery, rather than expressing their own associative thinking unless they have never heard of Newton or were unaware of the concept of gravity. Strictly speaking, associative thinking refers to the type of thinking that leads to new discoveries, inventions, creations, and theories. In this sense, individuals who possess associative thinking are primarily scientists, inventors, forensic experts, traditional Chinese medicine practitioners, fortune tellers, feng shui masters, exceptional politicians, military strategists, and engineers or technicians who can develop new products to some extent. The individuals who primarily drive the slow progression of human civilization are those who possess the ability of associative thinking. Without them, the civilized society we have today would not exist. Materialistic thinking is rigid thinking, while associative thinking is divergent thinking. It breaks free from the rigidity of materialistic thinking and surpasses the imitation and copying of image thinking. It directly extends its tentacles into unknown territories, leading to new discoveries and inventions, and finding new pathways. However, associative thinking still falls far short of truly grasping the profound mysteries of the universe. I can see this point from the thinking of great scientists such as Newton, Einstein, Planck, Hawking, and others. I also see it in the efforts of scientists attempting to establish a unified field theory of the universe. For the entire human race, I hope to see a significant emergence of individuals with For Life Achanuan members, I hope that everyone does not limit their thinking to associative thinking because associative thinking is still a lower-level form of thinking. It's like the situation where information needs to be exchanged between the two shores of the Atlantic Ocean. Materialistic thinkers would build ships and send people across, imagery-based thinkers would lay undersea cables, and associative thinkers would use radio waves. However, our approach is